I'm really cross with myself today, and if you want to know why, keep watching today's video. Welcome back. If you're wondering why I'm cross, I'm going to let you know in just a second. But today's design is going to be a round, posy style arrangement in a container that you might all have hiding away in the cupboards at home. Welcome to the channel. Easter is coming and I've got this really pretty cake tin, biscuit tin that I think I bought maybe 2 years ago, and I'm not sure if I've used it on the channel before, but I definitely bought it to do some Easter arrangements, and that's going to form my container. And you might be wondering what my mechanics are inside, and I'll talk you through that in just a second. But before I talk through that, I'm going to explain why I'm really cross. Now, last week I did some food shopping in Sainsbury's, and there was a really lovely spring bouquet for £10. Isn't that lovely? It's got hyacinths, tulips, and some anemones, and a little bit of gyp, and I think there's a small bit of foliage in there as well. I am cross, but there was a reason for me leaving it in the packaging. I wanted to explain to you I wanted to show to you how tulips continue to grow after they've been cut, and why they don't really conform to traditional floral design. This bunch was only £10. I thought it was a really beautiful colour. The combination is really lovely, and coincidentally it matched my vase. That wasn't the plan, but it's a lovely variety. There's roses, hyacinths and tulips. The reason I kept the packaging on is because I wanted you to see how tulips have a mind of their own, and how it's really hard to contain them within a particular shape arrangement, because they've continued to grow since I bought the bunch, which is about 4 days old. Normally I wouldn't leave it in the packaging. I always tell you after the first 24 hours to remove the packaging so the flowers can breathe. But how good is that as an example for what happens naturally to tulips? Look how much they've grown. That's got to be at least 4 inches. So trying to make an arrangement like a triangle or a tight sort of style posy arrangement isn't going to work with tulips, because they're going to continue to grow, and you're going to have to keep cutting them and moving them and repositioning them in the design. Now, I was really happy that the tulips grew so I could show you and I could talk you through the problem. But what I didn't anticipate, and it's my own fault because I've left the bunch sitting in the workroom, I didn't anticipate that the 2 out of the 3 lovely blue anemones were going to dampen off. And dampen off is when there is not enough air circulating around the flower. So they've been compact, they're warm, they're transpiring, which is giving off water, and then you get this mold effect in the middle. So I think I'm going to use this one because to show a YouTube video is okay. It's not good enough to go out to a customer or to use in any commercial type of work, but I think it's going to be okay for you. But that's why I'm cross. So it means that I've lost one of my beautiful blue anemones that we don't often see in supermarket bunches. They will grow in the garden, and you might be able to buy them from a local flower farm, but you'll definitely get them from a florist shop. But aren't they beautiful? Now, this in the industry is called blue, but this is probably what you would refer to as purple. Right, let's put those away and get arranging. Before I talk you through the mechanics, let's just see what's inside the bunch. And I've now introduced a membership side to the channel, so if you want to know more information about the mechanics, then you can join the membership side. There's an extra cost for that, but there's an extra set of videos each month. I'm also going to do a live chat with you and a live demonstration. So it's your opportunity to get to know lots of different floristry and flower arranging techniques. So this one, it's not the nicest looking foliage, is Eucalyptus robusta. That one in particular, that's like where a top section has been cut off and is a little bit on the ugly side. I might not use it, we'll see. Then I have this beautiful rose and 3 gorgeous hyacinths. Beautiful, beautiful hyacinths. Let's get those out. Aren't they lovely? And they weren't as open as this when I bought them. I've obviously allowed them to open over the last 4 days. And they do slightly grow. Not as much as the tulips, but I've got 3 of those. 3 of those are absolutely beautiful. I've got 1 anemone that's still looking very good. A very, very small piece of gyp. You can tell that the tulips haven't been looked after properly because the foliage is really yellowing, and that's normally an indication that it's not had enough light. And it's really, you know, the flowers are squashed and compact in the design, in the packaging, so they're not getting the best start to life. Look at that one. I mean, I love the way they want to go in their own direction, but it's not for everybody. So we have 3 roses, 3 lilac tulips, a couple of pieces of eucalyptus, and then there are 3 white tulips. So essentially there's 3 of everything, and there is 1 white tulip that's going to have to go in the bin because that's not looking particularly good. So that's my selection of flowers for today. Now I have this little biscuit tin. I probably should have checked beforehand that it was waterproof, because now I'm panicking and thinking the water's going to run out the bottom. But what I've done is I've created like a little nest inside, so I don't have to use floral foam. I'm going to be using a more sustainable and environmentally friendly method. So I've basically got some pieces of contorted hazel from the garden, and I've wrapped it round and placed it into the container so that it forms like a structure or a nest to hold my flowers into place. And then I'm going to add some water. Here's the moment of truth. Is my container going to leak? Fingers crossed, we're looking okay. So I've only filled this up with maybe an inch and a half of water, and that's because a lot of my flowers are soft stemmed. So I've got hyacinths, ranunculus and tulips, and all 3 of those are soft stemmed. If you sit those in too deep a water, the stem is going to rot. It's going to just disintegrate and go all mushy. But they are also thirsty drinkers, so it's important that we add water to this over the next couple of days. Now I'm going to start. I was thinking initially that I'll make a posy shape, but I want to keep the flowers quite long because I want to do 2 designs with the same flowers. So I'm going to create something that's quite natural and quite organic, and not overthink the sort of shape and style. Hopefully we're going to have something that's quite organic and quite natural. I did think I might do a round arrangement, but I think I'm going to do, because the pieces of eucalyptus have that natural shape to them, I'm going to use them towards the edge. And you'll see that the structure of the hazel is holding my material in place. It's not doing a perfect job of it, because that doesn't want to go where I want it to go. But as I build up and I add more layers, it will all hold together. And what I've essentially done is, rather than it being symmetrical, which is quite unnatural, is I've done what we call a triangle. So I've got 1 over here and then 2 over here. So it creates a triangle effect, and it's facing you at the moment. That is quite hard to get used to when you're arranging, when you've been arranging with matching flowers on either side, but that really formal pattern isn't particularly fashionable at the moment. So spend a bit of time finding where the material is naturally going to sit, and I'm trying to keep my pieces fairly long because I would like to reuse these flowers in a different style. And the sort of theory behind working with any type of mechanic that isn't foam is to create almost like a grid effect in the middle here, so it holds your flowers into position. At the moment I can't see what that looks like because it's facing you, but I'll turn it around in a minute. And I'm just feeding my flowers through the middle. I don't want that network to be too tight because I won't be able to feed in my flowers. but I also want it tight enough that it does support them and holds them into place. And I'm hoping that I've got a sort of unbalanced V shape, a little bit dipped in the middle. And the reason for me doing that sort of V shape is because I can now drape the sort of tulips over to one side, and this is really going to be quite natural and quite organic. This one I snapped when I was conditioning them, so that's going to be a little shorter and more towards the front. And I'm just going to show you, if I try and put an anemone up in the middle, it isn't going to hold there because there's not enough. Well, if I had tried to do that, it wouldn't have worked. But it's a bit tall. I don't want to go that tall. I want this to come over more to this side. So I'm creating a sort of crescent. A V-shaped design seems to be the trending shape at the moment. And I'm trying to work my flowers in so that they're forming triangles, not matching positions on either side. And I know what's going to happen. People are going to comment in the box, where is there a triangle, Sharon? Well, they're a little bit hard to see if you don't know what you're looking for, but there is one from here to here to here, and it might be better if we look in the overhead camera. If I drew a line from here to here to here to here, we've got a triangle that's not matching. Do I dare say that that's an isosceles triangle? I might live to regret that, but it's not a triangle that's symmetrical. It's an unbalanced triangle. And then if we look here, we've got one here as well between the three flowers. At this point, I'm going to put in my gyp, and I'm going to aim this towards the sort of middle part because that's going to support any other fresh flowers that I'm going to put in. And then I'm going to work with my bigger hyacinth. Now, I always think this type of arrangement really suits spring flowers, daffodils, tulips, irises, and we are obviously in the spring now. So I think this is the best way, rather than trying to force them into foam, just let them do what they naturally want to do. And the hyacinth is the bigger flower, so I'm working this towards the middle. And I'm going to place this one more down towards the centre. Now we have to remember that an arrangement is three-dimensional, so I need to have flowers back here as well, otherwise it's just going to tip forward and it's going to fall out of the container. So in a minute we're going to bring some foliage back there. That's going to give you that depth. It's really, really important. I know I go on, and what's really good now is on the new part of the channel, if you look below the video, the PDF downloadable documents, they're not hard copies, so please remember they're not books. They're PDF documents that you can download to your phone. They're all linked now below the video. So if you want to download an Elements and Principles guide, it's really easy for you to do now. You don't have to go over to the website. And if you are downloading the guide, it's only £9.50. You need to do the both, the Elements and the Principles guide. Lots of people just download the Principles, but you need the Elements to go with it, because the Principles guide won't mean anything to you. It won't make any sense. So that's my main sort of structure in this lovely, slightly damaged anemone is going to go somewhere around here. I think that might be a bit high. Let's have a look. It's too high. So I'm going to take that a little lower. Now, soft stem flowers like anemones, hyacinths and tulips should be cut straight across if they're going into foam, straight across or at an angle if they're going into water. But don't try and cut them at an angle and then place them into foam, because you narrow in the stem end and you've lost the strength and the integrity. So how are we doing so far? I think that is so pretty. My tulips are a little bit dangly on this side. It's because I've had the design facing you while I've been working with it. So a little bit of tulip towards the back, and then I can add in my really pretty rose. Now the roses aren't going to move. They're going to stay where I put them. Two of them are going to form more of the focal point here towards the centre. That one's not going where I want it to go. Let's make that shorter. So that's going to come more towards the middle. And this is a fantastic design for the home. I don't think this would work particularly well in a church because it's quite small, but the principles are the same. When you're arranging with anything like wire netting, twigs like I've done here, you've almost got to let the flowers speak for themselves. And now I'm going to introduce a little bit more of the rosemary so that tulip here doesn't quite look like he's sticking out there on his own. Now, if you do want flowers to cascade over the front, it's not like foam where you can angle them into a foam. You have to choose material that is going to drape down on its own. So things like ivy or vines that will naturally cascade down. So he doesn't look quite so lonely now. I think we're going to add another one just here. And you'll often hear me say on the channel that whatever we have on the outside, we should also connect in the middle. And I've only got the rosemary on the outside of the arrangement. And it's at risk of looking like what? Tell me in the comments. What do I often say that the things look like on the outside edge? So to prevent that, I can work some of the rosemary towards the middle. Now it's important that you remove all of the foliage from the bottom because it's going into water, and it's also important that your stem is long enough to get to the water source at the bottom. It'll be quite interesting to see over the next couple of days how the tulips move around, and if I have chance, I will take a photograph of it and I will add it to the photograph gallery at the end. And if you've not watched a tutorial before and you haven't stayed to the end, stay to the end because there are close-ups of the finished design and you can really see how it's all come together. So these longer pieces I'm just going to sneak in at the back. It's not like floral foam where we have to worry too much about covering the foam, but we do have to make sure that there's weight at the back so it doesn't tip forward. It's not so important with this arrangement here because the container is wide and low, but if we were using something tall, then we'd need to have weight at the back to stop it tipping forward. I am fortunate here because now I'm at home and the garden is just outside the door. So I have some of what I call home oak. This is a very traditional foliage here in the UK. And because I only had a few pieces of the eucalyptus in that bunch, I picked a few pieces of the home oak, which will just slide in at the back to neaten the arrangement off and make sure that there's weight there at the back. So I've just slightly moved this hyacinth so that we get a better position for those. Do I like this white tulip hanging down the side? I'm not quite sure. What I'm going to do is rest it on that piece of eucalyptus, on the rosemary, so that it doesn't look like it's sort of dangling with no friends. It's sort of been shoved out in the party and nobody wants to like it. And then I'll add an extra bit of eucalyptus. Oh, extra bit of rosemary. Oh, and I'm much happier with that. That's a much nicer design now. So if I'd have had that third anemone, I would probably have put it in this position here just to bring the colour through. But I've only got two and I'm not going to worry about it. And if I wanted to, I could have added a little bit of extra movement with the willow. And I can always photograph that, add it into the gallery at the end so you can see. So that's a bit of a guide on how you can create quite a simple arrangement for the home with a £10 supermarket bench and some added garden greenery. I've done it without using any floral foam, so it's much better for the environment. I'm relieved to find my container isn't leaking. And I'm hoping that you've learned something from today's video. Don't forget to ask as many questions as you want in the comment box. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, then please do so. Hit that notification bell to be told every time I upload a new video. And don't forget, you now have the option to join the membership side of the channel where there's a whole host of new videos. I'll see you for the next video soon. Bye for now.